And we're back once again at chapter 17 of 2 Samuel. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David this night. Notes. This chapter symbolizes the rejection of the son of David by Judas. It is exactly as the Israel of Jesus' day. Most of the people loved David, but much of its leadership seemingly didn't. Most of the people of Israel loved Jesus, but its leadership, at least for the most part, didn't. Ahithophel, like Judas, betrayed David and then hung himself, so we are seeing here a forepicture of what would happen approximately 1,000 years later. Verse 2. And I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and will make him afraid, and all the people who are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. Notes. The proposal to single out David and murder him pleased Absalom well and all the elders of Israel. You'll read that in verse 4. And yet Absalom was David's son. As well, all the elders of Israel had received nothing from him but good. How true is it that the heart is desperately wicked? Jeremiah 17:9. Verse 3, And I will bring back all the people unto you. The man whom you seek is as if all returned, so all the people shall be in peace. Notes. Ahithophel tells Absalom that his plan will guarantee the throne. Putting a little butter on the bread, so to speak. Verse 4. And the saying pleased Absalom well and all the elders of Israel. Notes. Now, as I stated, the prosperity of Israel, which was then the greatest in the world, was all due to the blessings of the Lord upon King David. And yet the elders of Israel did not seem to know this. Well, how much is that really like the modern church right now? Everybody wants to dethrone and stone and kill David, but the Davids of our world are actually the ones that are giving us the blessings. Verse 5. Then said Absalom, Call now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he says. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spoke unto him, saying, Ahithophel has spoken after this manner. Shall we do after his saying? If not, speak thou. And Hushai said unto Absalom, The counsel that Ahithophel has given is not good at this time. For said Hushai, You know your father and his men, that they be mighty men, and they be chafed in their minds, as a bearer robbed of her whelps in the field. And your father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people. Behold, he is hid now in some pit, or is in some other place. And it will come to pass, when some of them be overthrown at the first, that whosoever hears it will say, There is a slaughter among the people who follow Absalom. Verse 10. And he also who is valiant, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt. For all Israel knows that your father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant. Therefore I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered unto you, from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand that is by the sea for multitude, and that you go to battle in your own person. So shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew falls on the ground. And of him and all the men who are with him there shall not be left so much as one. Verse 13. Moreover, if he be gotten into a city, then shall all Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it into the river, until there be not one small stone found there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, The counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For the Lord had appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, to the intent that the Lord might bring evil upon Absalom. Notes. The Lord used Hushai to appeal to the pride of Absalom. This upstart could see himself marching at the head of thousands of troops, with all of Israel at his feet. Truly, Ahithophel's counsel had been perfect. David did not yet have the time to marshal his forces, and at this stage was not ready to fight. Ahithophel knew this, but his advice was not taken, which I do believe was ordered by the Lord himself. Verse 15. Then said Hushai unto Zadok and to Abiathar the high priests, Thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. Notes. In other words, they're recapping all the events to this person. Verse 16. Oh, gee, I got a little kitty cat over here. Verse 16. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, Lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all the people who are with him. Notes. In other words, let's get over the Jordan River. Absalom may change his mind and adopt Ahithophel's advice after all, so David must actually hurry. Verse 17. Now Jonathan and Ahimaaz stayed by Enrogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and told King David. Notes. Jonathan was the son of Abiathar, while Ahimaaz was the son of Zadok, all who were confederate with David, even though Absalom was not aware of such. The two young men were sent by Hushai to give David the message as to what he ought to do. Continuing the notes, the word wench should have actually been translated maidservant. In this verse we see this handmaid named along with the mighty king of Israel, King David, and all of this by the Holy Spirit. This is an encouraging instance of how useful the most insignificant person can be to the Lord of glory in the interest of his kingdom. Verse 18. Nevertheless a lad saw them and told Absalom. But they went both of them away quickly and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his court, whither they went down. Notes. They used the well as a hiding place for a very short period of time. Verse 19. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth, and spread ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known. Notes. The two young men were not actually discovered, and as would be obvious, corn is not the proper translation. It should read wheat. There would be absolutely no use in burying a well with corn, ground corn at all, obviously. Anyways, verse 20. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, Where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, They be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. Notes. Well, of course, they had been hidden away in the well, and she helped in their little escape. Continuing. And it came to pass, after they were departed, that they came up out of the well, and went and told King David, and said unto David, Arise, and pass quickly over the water, for thus has Ahithophel counseled against you. Notes. They told David all the plans of Ahithophel, and then how Hushai had gotten Absalom to listen to him instead, which would give David time, which of course he desperately needed. Verse 22. Then David arose, and all the people who were with him, and they passed over Jordan. By the morning light there lacked not one of them who was not gone over Jordan. Verse 23. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose, and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. Notes. So died the man who would not forgive David, and had fomented a rebellion to dethrone God's anointed. The child of God must ever understand that he is obligated to forgive those whom God forgives. To do less is to set oneself on the road to disaster. This guy basically went to his own house, paid all of his bills, got everything straightened up and prettied up, kissed his wife, kissed his kids, did all that, and went out and hung himself. And we must pick up in chapter 17, verse 24 of the book of 2 Samuel. Thank you, and God bless.